In this lecture, we will try to solve the problems of EMT part asked in GATE 2018. So see the first question. So there are 3 points, point P, Q and R shown on the Smith chart in the following figure represent. So this is a Smith chart. So the question is asking about, if you see the options, he is asking about what is the nature of the load at point P, Q and R respectively. So let us start by considering the point P. If you see here the point P, so this is the intersection of the two circles. So one will be the outer circle, this one. So we know that this value will be R is equal to 0 and the intersection of this one. So this is corresponding to X equal to 0. So at point P, the value of R is equal to 0 and X is also said to be 0. Hence the normalized load impedance ZL by Z0 is equal to R plus JX. So which will be 0. So which means your ZL equal to 0. So when the load impedance is 0, the nature of the load can be considered as a short circuit. So when we move on to the point Q, so if you see the point Q, this is the intersection of this circle where the value of R will be 1 and it exactly lies on the real axis. So X is equal to 0 here. So the point Q consists of R is equal to 1 and X equal to 0. So hence your ZL by Z0 value is equal to R plus JX, which is nothing but 1, which represents ZL equal to Z0. So in case of a transmission line, if the load impedance is terminated with a characteristic impedance, that line is basically said to be the matched line. So when ZL equal to Z0, the nature of the load will be matched load, where the impedance has been matched. So let us move on to the point R. So if we see point R, it represents a point circle where R equal to infinity and the reactance also is said to be infinity. So this will be R equal to infinity and X equal to infinity. So ZL by Z0 is equal to R plus JX, which is said to be infinity. So in that case, the value of ZL is said to be infinity. So when the load impedance is infinity, the nature of the load can be considered as open circuit. So hence the point P represents a short circuit load and point Q represents a matched load and point R represents a open circuit load. So hence option C is correct. So move on to the next question. So this question belongs to the topic transmission lines. So there is a lossy transmission line having a resistance per unit length of 0.05 ohms per meter, the line is distortionless and the characteristic impedance is given is 50 ohm. Then find the attenuation constant in Napier per meter correct to 3 decimal places of the line will be. So in case of a transmission line, we already know for the distortionless line, the attenuation constant is root over R into G, Napier per meter. And since in the question he has already said the line is distortionless. So whenever the transmission line is said to be distortionless, the value of R by L is said to be the ratio of G by C. So hence the value of G can be written as R into C by L. So consider this as an equation 1. So the same value of G I can replace in the attenuation constant of alpha. So alpha becomes root over R into G will be R into C by L. Hence it becomes R into root over C by L. So the value of alpha is said to be R divided by root L by C. This is same as R divided by the characteristic impedance of the line, because we already know the characteristic impedance in a distortionless is the ratio of square root of L by C. So the value of the attenuation constant is nothing but, in the question he given the value of resistance is 0.05 and the value of Z will be 50 ohms. So this will result in a value of 0.001 Napier per meter. So hence in this question the value of attenuation constant is 0.001 Napiers per meter. So moving on to the next question. So this question has been from the topic EM wave propagation. So there is a uniform plane wave traveling in the free space and having the electric field intensity. So there is some equation given here. Is incident on the dielectric medium where the relative permittivity is greater than 1 as shown in the figure, and there is no reflected wave. Then find the relative permittivity of the dielectric medium. So you can see here the wave is entering like this, and this is a free space and this is the dielectric. So what will happen when the wave is entered here, and he is already given the condition that there is no reflected wave present. So which means the incident wave is fully getting transmitted into the next medium. So if there is no reflected wave exists, in that case the angle of incidence is basically said to be the Brewster angle. So when the angle of incidence is equal to the Brewster angle, there will not be any reflected wave. So if any Brewster angle exists, we know the formula for Brewster angle, tan theta b is equal to root over the relative permittivity ratio of second medium by the first medium. This is the formula we are going to use. So first try to find out the angle of incidence at which the wave is entering. So for that, let us say this is the angle of incidence. I have considered this is theta I, and this is the direction where the wave is trying to enter. So assume the beta is the propagation constant along resultant direction. So beta can be resolved into two components. So this is the propagation constant along x direction, and this is the propagation constant along z direction. Now when you look into this particular triangle, so there is a 90 degrees here, and since this is beta x, this also can be said to be beta x. First of all, by seeing the equation, the value of beta x can be found here and beta z can be found here. So by comparing, you can say beta x value is nothing but x coefficient is 1 and beta z coefficient will be root 2. So hence the resultant propagation constant is root over beta x square plus beta z square. So that will result in a value of root 3. Now if you look at this particular triangle, the value of tan theta I can be found just by the ratio of beta z and beta x. Beta z by beta x, so which results in the value of root 2. So since theta I is also said to be the Brewster angle, since there is no reflected wave, so root over epsilon r2 by free space permittivity will be 1 is equal to root 2. So hence it results the dielectric medium relative permittivity will be equal to 2. And the same thing verified here, because epsilon r2 we already got it is greater than 1. Even in the question also he has given epsilon r is greater than 1. So it has been cross checked. So the answer in this question is the relative permittivity of the dielectric medium will be 2 here. So let us move on to the next question. And this question is from the topic waveguide. So the cutoff frequency for TE01 mode of an air-filled rectangular waveguide having inner dimensions of a by b centimeter, given a is greater than b, is twice that of the dominant mode of TE10 mode. So when the waveguide is to be operated at a frequency which is 25% higher than the cutoff frequency of the dominant mode, the guide wavelength is found to be 4 centimeter. Then find the value of the b in centimeter correct to 2 decimal places. So the full question is revolving around the concept of cutoff frequency. So in a rectangular waveguide, we already know the cutoff frequency expression will be c by 2 root over m by a whole square plus n by b whole square. Now if it is TE10, substitute m is equal to 1 and n equal to 0, the cutoff frequency which will be, you are getting c by 2a. Similarly, in case of TE01, the cutoff frequency for TE01 subjected to m equal to 0 and n equal to 1 results c by 2b. So in the question, the cutoff frequency for TE01 mode is given twice that of the TE10 mode. So the cutoff frequency for TE01 is twice that of TE10. So you can substitute the relation. So C01 is having c by 2a cutoff frequency and 10 mode is having c by 2b. So which will results in the value of a is equal to, you can see here, a is equal to 2 times b. So take it as equation 1. And at the same time, he already given one more equation. The waveguide is operated at a frequency 25% higher than the dominant mode cutoff frequency, which means the operating frequency of the waveguide is 1.25 times the cutoff frequency at TE10, because the dominant mode is said to be TE10. So which results, I can say f is equal to 1.25 into the cutoff frequency at TE10, we already know that will be C by 2A. So if we calculate the value of C by f, which will be result in a free space wavelength lambda naught is equal to 2 times A divided by 1.25. So which means lambda naught can be written as 2 times A is nothing but 4 times B using the equation 1. So lambda naught can be written as 4 times B by 1.25. So let me take it as equation 2. And then in this case, the guide wavelength is found to be 4 centimeter. So which means we know in case of a waveguide, the guide wavelength is equal to lambda naught by root over 1 minus fc by f whole square. So which means lambda naught value is equal to, so lambda g he given in centimeter. So I will get lambda naught in centimeter itself equal to 4 centimeter into root over 1 minus, since f is 1.25 times of the fc, so the ratio will become 1 by 1.25 whole square. So lambda naught in centimeter if you get here, so that will be 4 centimeter into root over, this can be written as 100 by 125, which means that 4 by 5 whole square. So finally you will get lambda naught in centimeter is equal to 4 centimeter into 3 by 5. So from the help of equation 2, lambda naught in centimeter is same as 4b divided by 1.25. So the value of b can be written as 3 into 1.25 divided by 5. So 3 into 0.25. So hence the value of dimension b in centimeter will get, that will be 0.75 centimeter. So in this question, the value of b will be, we got obtained it as 0.75 centimeter. So that's it. Thank you very much.